The following programme is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language and flashing imagery.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. It's now time for the featured bout of the evening. From the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now!
Good afternoon, everybody. There is the scene in London. Wherever you're joining us around the country, a warm welcome from the capital. We're in Regent's Park this afternoon, 2 days until a big night of boxing at Wembley Arena live on DAZN. Dillian Whyte returns to action after his third career defeat in the summer at 35 years of age. How much does he have left? The questions will be posed by unbeaten American Jermaine Franklin on Saturday night live from Wembley Arena. And I guess a banana skin for Dillian Whyte, a huge opportunity this for Jermaine Franklin, but almost as importantly, a brilliant undercard on Saturday night.
Oh, huge. We've got a bit of everything on there, haven't we? Experienced fighters, some real crackers, domestic dust-ups. One that springs to mind straight away is the heavyweight title in the heavyweight division. Wardley and Gorman. I think that's a very good fight. So much on the line for both men, as there is in a lot of these fights. I mean, Sandy Ryan in a very important fight against Sanchez. She's on the cusp now of something really big. And again, to touch on the main event, Dillian Whyte and Franklin, they've almost been everything but promised the AJ fight next. So the pot of gold for a lot of these fighters is huge.
Certainly is. All starts at 4:30, our pre-broadcast segment. Myself and Big Johnny Fisher will be calling the action. Looking forward to working with him for the first time. Big Thomas Carty, the Dublin Southpaw, will be kicking us off 4:30 on YouTube against Pablo Krylenko. George Lillard, one of Tony Sims' fighters, well, under the guidance of Kevin Mitchell in the Tony Sims gym, makes his debut at middleweight. He's up against Nikola Matic from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Mark Dickinson, who's looked so good under Ben Davison's guidance, is 3-0 so far, looking to make it 4 against Gideon Onyanani, one of Robert Hodgins' fighters. Ben Davison and Hodgins will be in opposite corners on Before the Bell, and then they'll be teaming up in the same corner for Fabio Wardley in his British title fight in our chief support. Chev Clark looking to go 4-0 as well at cruiserweight. He's up against Jose Ulrich, who's 17-5 from Maria Juana. So that will conclude the pre-broadcast segment. 4 fights on Before the Bell before we kick off live 7 o'clock local time. Sandy Ryan, as you mentioned, up against Anahi Esther Sanchez, a 3-weight world champion. A little bit of inactivity, came back and looked decent though. And I spoke to Chantal Cameron earlier on this week, who is one of the 5 women to have beaten her, all elite fighters, including Katie Taylor, Maiva Hamadouche as well, and she said a real handful. Sandy could be in at the deep end here, but we know she's firing on all cylinders too.
Well, we touched on it yesterday, and I think the sort of the plan, or the game plan rather, to beating Sanchez would be a similar to performance that she put in against Farias in that rematch. You know, a disciplined display, get behind the jab, move your feet, don't be there, don't stay in the pocket, because this woman here can really punch. She loves to get stuck in. Yes, inactive, but when she's allowed to let her hands go, she's a frightening fighter.
Still in her fighting prime at 31 years of age, always there for the return as well. Sandy Ryan knows that, so she's got to be on her game. Olympic silver medalist was a huge coup for Matchroom Boxing a few weeks ago, the signing of Pat McCormack, a brilliant show in Tokyo and a brilliant career as an amateur boxer, looking to make waves as a welterweight in the pros. And after the retirements of Amir Khan, the likes of Kell Brook as well, we're overdue a really top welterweight to burst on the scene and be competitive with some of the brilliant Americans that have come through in the last 5 or 6 years. I think all inferences are that this man could be the one to do it for the
I mean,
UK.
he's got absolutely every component necessary, and what I didn't know is his work ethic is through the roof. He's always looking to improve, always working hard, and you can't buy that, you can't teach that. You either got it or you haven't. And to get all the way to the very top, you need that in abundance. So this man has got a very, very bright future in front of him.
Yeah, it's taken him just 3 cumulative minutes to dispatch of his first 2 opponents. He's done so in savage fashion as well. Can Christian Andino, who's got 16-5-2 as his record, offer him a little bit more by way of resistance? Don't hold your breath, folks. Really, really great fight Pat McCormack in his second outing, a third outing as a pro, second on the bill. Craig Richards in a really good contest after two very close defeats to Dimitri Bivol and Joshua Buatsi, and how well they've aged. He is looking to get back to winning ways against Richard Bolotniks, who gave Buatsi a tough test last summer as well. And I guess for Craig Richards, no point taking too far of a backstep for him. He also needs the kind of opposition that are going to keep him switched on to bring the best out of him. This man, as we've heard from Myris Breedis, Joshua Buatsi and many others that have sparred and shared the ring with him professionally, is a proper handful.
If you're not on your game, there's a very good chance you could get beat. We've seen he's so tough, he's experienced now, he knows what it takes to win these big fights, and now that's, for me, is what Craig's got to do. He's got to go out there and win a big fight now.
So we're going to be here for all the undercard fighters ahead of the main event, which will happen after a short break when the proceedings are done. Fabio Wardley and Nathan Gorman, of course, chief support for the vacant British heavyweight title. All the fighters are now sat at the desk with Eddie Hearn, so let's hear from them now.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Darren, and welcome everybody to London this afternoon for a big night of boxing on Saturday at the OVO Wembley Arena, live on DAZN around the world. Of course, the return of the body snatcher, Dillian Whyte, against Jermaine Franklin, 21-0 from America. It's a big, big fight for the heavyweight division. It's also an outstanding card on a very busy weekend of boxing. Now, you know that I'm quite often play our shows down, but unquestionably, the show of the weekend takes place on DAZN live this Saturday night at Wembley. Tremendous card and so much to talk about before we go to the main event press conference. And we're going to start with a man making his professional debut on Saturday night. Of course, a man under the tutelage of Tony Sims, was supposed to fight on the Conor Benn card recently. George Liddard, welcome, George. Big moment for you on Saturday night. Excited, ready to go. The professional journey starts on a big, big show.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm really excited, and I just can't wait to get in there now. Obviously meant to fight last month, but had to wait, but now's the time. So
coming from a great gym, obviously been hanging around with, sparring with, learning from the likes of John Ryder, Felix Cash, obviously Conor Benn, Joe Caldina, Craig Richards, etc. How's that been for you, that experience in Sims's gym, and put you in great stead for the debut on a card and a stage like this?
It's amazing, having that experience around me, feeding off all the experience they've got. It's invaluable. Obviously, the sparring's amazing. I just feel myself getting better and better week by week, and it's just going to put me in good stead for the future.
Thanks, George. Good luck for the pro debut on Saturday.
Thank you.
Heavyweight action, Thomas Carty. Thomas, welcome. Obviously, under the tutelage and management of Dillian Whyte, it was a necessity. I wasn't going to argue with him about putting you on this show, but regardless of that, it's always great to have you on. Moving now well in the division. Want a busy 2023, of course. Won't get you too excited, but it looks very likely that we'll see Katie Taylor at Croke Park in the spring, summer of 2023. And again, obviously want to see your man do the business in the main event, but part of a big run of fights coming up for you now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. Delighted to be here and delighted to be taking part in such a big card. And like you said, it's looking like Katie's going to be fighting in Croke Park. And I look out my front window in the house and I can see the side of Croke Park from my front window. So it'll be a historic night, and I'm delighted to be kept busy up until that. So roll on Saturday night and then roll on 2023.
Look forward to seeing you back in action. Craig Richards not here today due to personal reasons, but Ricard Bolotniks is. This is a tremendous fight. We saw one of the fights of a previous year with Bolotniks and Buatsi at fight camp, and this fight going to be a cracker. Ricard's welcome. Ready to go. We saw you against Joshua Buatsi. The British fight fans love you. Every fight is non-stop action, and ready to go to war once again on Saturday night.
It's working. Hello, everyone. I hope with Craig Richards everything is all right, because he wasn't yesterday, he wasn't today. So I hope we will have a fight Saturday. I'm ready. Yeah, everything is all right. England, nice weather in my country now, -5. So yeah, Eddie, thank you very much to give a chance come here and fight with the same card with that kind of big guys and big champions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricard. Look forward to seeing you back in action on Saturday. As we do, one of the top prospects in British boxing, Chev Clark. Great performances so far in the cruiserweight division. Already, in my opinion, gearing up for big championship fights in 2023. Chev, Another nice step up for you. It was supposed to be a step up last time. I thought it was your best performance of your career so far, but this guy shared many rounds with Mike Perez, Masternak, Tishenko as well. These are the kind of fights that should give you rounds as you prepare for the championship battles in 2023.
Yeah, it's been good so far, and you know, I weren't one of the guys that medalled at the Olympics, so people didn't get to see my skills, etc. But with the Matchroom and the DAZN platform, people are starting to see it now. And you said my opponent's faced all those guys. Yeah, that's all good, but he hasn't faced me yet, so we're gonna have fun on Saturday night.
How have you found that transition so far? I mean, we've seen you all action. You've walked onto a few as well. You've definitely had your chin check, which has been fine so far, but not unprepared to stand and trade. All action, very entertaining. Do you expect just to be too good and too powerful for these guys as you move through those levels?
I think I've done all right, as you said. I've had my chin check, but you know, I've got skills. I can box, I can fight, and I think people will see that as we go along.
And finally, I've asked this before, but when you look at those guys at domestic level and slightly beyond as well, I'm talking about the likes of Chris Billum-Smith, I'm talking about the likes of Dion Juma and those kind of fighters as well. How far away do you think you are from those guys? Tommy McCarthy, you know, all of those guys at the top of the domestic tree in the cruiserweight division?
You know, as my coach picks them, as you pick them, I'll fight them. I don't look too far ahead. Just handle what I've got in front of me, and people will see as we go.
Look forward to seeing you back in the action at Wembley Arena on Saturday night. Recently, you would have seen the addition to the Matchroom stable of two outstanding fighters, one Mark Dickinson and one Pat McCormack, obviously both trained by Ben Davison. Mark Dickinson is a guy that didn't reach the levels as an amateur of Chev Clark and Pat McCormack, but was always very, very well regarded. It was a few months back where Ben Davison came to me and said, listen to me when I tell you about Mark Dickinson. This kid is one of the most exciting, hard-hitting fighters I think we've ever worked with, and I think he's going to go on to be a world champion. Now, when Ben Davison tells you that, generally you want to agree. We got the opportunity, and he wanted to come out and make a statement straight away. Gideon Oniyomi, 4-2. This is a great story in itself, part of the Fabio Wardley gym. Now, you must be mad, because the other week you fought Herbert de Souza, the Olympic champion, and now you're going in with Mark Dickinson as well. You're ready for this, you love it, a huge opportunity. You've got a lot of support coming down. It's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good opportunity, you know, to fight the top fighters. You know, I like to test myself, take risks. I'm not really fearful. So yeah, I'm excited about the opportunity, and the best thing is to fight the best fighters. I think that's how I'll progress in my career and going from there.
Talk to us about that Herbert de Souza fight. This guy, you know, knocked out Iranian in the Olympics, is widely regarded as one of the standout of the tournaments, but you competed very well against him. Obviously don't have the amateur experience that he does, but still gave him a great fight.
Yeah, exactly. So me not having amateur experience, when my coach told me that the fight was available, I think we got 2 weeks notice, but straight away we was on it. We thought we'll just go for it, get the experience. We wasn't really bothered about taking a loss. We wanted to go for a win, didn't get that, but we got the experience. But yeah, I felt all right in there. I didn't feel too outclassed or anything. I felt I could hold my own. And yeah, so excited for another tough fight with Mark Dickinson.
Yeah, and this man, a very good amateur, very explosive, loves to come and fight. You've got a lot of support coming as well on Saturday. Should be a very entertaining matchup.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously with Mark's style and my style, I think it will go well to be a good fight. Obviously, he doesn't want an easy fight in his Matchroom debut. I don't want an easy fight. So yeah, I think it'll be a really entertaining fight.
Well, fair play to you, Mark. You didn't want an easy fight, I know that's for sure. You and Pat have been breezing through these opponents. Really, you need rounds, you need people that are coming to win. You've got it on Saturday night, the perfect opponent for you to come and try and make a statement at the weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a very good opportunity for me to make a statement at the weekend. Obviously, as you hear, he gave a good account of himself against the red and Olympic gold medalist. But I haven't been chasing those amateur medals. The last 2 years I've been working on being a professional, and I think you're going to see how much of an exciting prospect and how good of a prospect I really am Saturday night when I make a statement.
You've seen a lot of amateurs. I mean, you look at the likes of Galal Yafai, who had a very tough fight in Abu Dhabi recently. What kind of speed do you want to move at? I know the traditional answer is whatever my coach wants, etc. But do you feel that, you know, you want to move into 10 rounds sort of early, mid next year, and there's no reason with your ability and amateur pedigree you should be held back either.
No, I don't feel like I should need any help back. I think I'll be better when the longer rounds come in. I'm a fighter that's training in the gym to be a 12-round fighter. I don't train for these 6 rounds. I train to be a 12-round fighter, and I can't wait to show it.
Thank you very much. We go up to your stablemate as well, Pat McCormack, who I honestly think this young man, one of the best prospects British boxing has seen in many, many years. We know he's a character. Shout out to his brother as well, Luke there. These two are always full of fun. If this young man stays disciplined, which I believe he will under us with the activity and also with Ben Davison as well, I truly believe that Pat McCormack will go on and become a real star of British boxing. Unbelievable talent. I remember sitting down with him at the EIS. I was trying to play it cool, trying to not show him how badly I wanted to sign him, but I didn't do a very good job because I didn't get him. And when he went, it was one of them where I went, oh no, I'm going to have to watch this young kid for years and years, winning British titles, European titles, knocking everyone out, selling out the arena in Newcastle. Eddie, why did you try and play it so cool? Anyway, a couple of months later, God smiled on us and Ben Davison called me and said, are you interested in Pat McCormack? We weren't prepared to let it slip twice. The beginning of the journey starts on Saturday night. And this time, it's a good step up for him. It's the kind of step up he needs. A couple of first-round blowouts already. This guy needs to box at a better level. He does it against Christian Andiano. Christian, welcome, with your translator there. This is a big fight for you. You have plenty of experience in the professional ranks, but this young man, although he's starting his journey, is a very special fighter.
En primer lugar, Cristian, bienvenido. Obviamente es una gran pelea para ti. Has estado muy experimentado, has tenido muchas peleas contra un gran prospecto, un hombre también. Va a ser una gran pelea. Sábado por la noche.
Sí, desde ya muchas gracias por permitirme pelear en esta velada fantástica. Y sí, lo estuve estudiando. A mi rival es un gran prospecto, tiene mucha experiencia tanto amateur y como profesional, sé lo que es, pero yo también vine a hacer mi trabajo, sé lo que soy yo, sé lo que es boxear de visitante, con todo el público en mi contra, y para eso estoy, para dar pelea este sábado, para no hacérsela fácil, para convertirme en un gran problema para él y vendría yo a hacer de Grinch en la Navidad de él.
So first and foremost, I want to say thank you very much. It's great to be on such a hugely important card as this against such a great prospect. I know he's got some great amateur experience and now he's moving into the professional field, but I'm also someone who has a lot of experience, and I want to come here and I want to be a problem for him. I've studied my opponent and I want to be very much a problem for him. I want to be the Grinch of Christmas for him.
Thank you, Christian. Pat, welcome. Genuinely, no pressure now on Saturday after that build-up, but these are the kind of fights that you want. This guy's done many rounds with good fighters. You've had a couple of very quick wins, but again, a fighter that should move quite quickly in the professional ranks, and looking forward to making your Matchroom and DAZN debut on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Finally on the big stage. This is where I feel like I belong. This is where I've dreamed of fighting for Matchroom, and I can't wait to just go in there on Saturday night. I've boxed all over the world. Everyone in boxing knows how good I am, what I've achieved, but now it's time to show all the public and all the fans at home how good I am.
This period where you're going through these levels and you're expected to win, how important is it to look good? I mean, I sometimes find myself sitting there saying, I want you to look good. Winning, of course, is the most important thing, and not getting hit is another one, but being exciting, looking good and entertaining is all going to build that profile as we lead to those big nights in Newcastle. Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all about just getting the experience in. Obviously, I haven't went back to the corner yet as a pro. I could do with a few rounds on Saturday and show everyone what me and my coach Ben Davison have been working on in the gym day in, day out. And yeah, I'm just ready to shine on Saturday. One thing you said to me when we did the announcement is you said, I promise I'm all in on this. You know, and I said to you, this is a short career. You get one opportunity at this, and then you're done for the rest of your life. You have that mindset now as well. You know, we know that when you're on, and you're the very, very best in the world. You're ready to give this sport everything with this platform, this opportunity you have, and go and become a world champion for Britain. Yeah, 100%. Obviously, as an amateur, it's a lot different. There's only 3 rounds. Like, as a pro, it's 12 rounds. You need to live the life. You need to be doing everything right, otherwise you're just going to get found out. And
I'm ready to put it all in and get some titles. Hopefully next year we could fight for a British title or something, and then just push on from there. Keep climbing the ladder till we get to the top.
Well, can't wait to see you in a real fight on Saturday night, live on DAZN. Another big championship fight for women's boxing on Saturday night. Anahi Sanchez against Sandy Ryan for the WBC international title, silver title, previously on the line as well. This is a great fight, and I have to give special props to Sandy Ryan for the way that she's been moved in her professional career so far. Obviously stepped up in a huge fight against Erica Farias, lost a tight decision, wanted the immediate rematch for that fight, came out, won the rematch, now fights, in my opinion, a tougher fight against Anahi Sanchez, and a much more exciting fight as well, against someone who has boxed Katie Taylor over 10 rounds, has boxed Chantel Cameron over 10 rounds, has won a world title, has attempted to unify the division against Jessica McCaskill in one of the best women's fights I've seen. I think this is going to be a tremendous fight. Anahi, welcome. Another big fight for you. You've boxed everybody in the division. This time, Sandy Ryan, less experience, but still a very good fighter.
Bienvenido en primer lugar, has enfrentado a todos los grandes de la división. Esta vez es una pelea diferente con una persona como Sandy Ryan con menos experiencia, pero aún así una gran pelea.
Hola, gracias Eddie, gracias por la oportunidad, una nueva oportunidad, esta vez con Ryan. Venimos preparados como siempre para hacer una buena pelea. Ya con experiencia, como lo decía, y bueno, me he preparado estos meses para pelear contra Ryan, y bueno, las peleas que he hecho contra McCaskill, Cameron, Taylor no fueron mi noche, y bueno, esta vez vengo por mi noche, y bueno, para hacer una buena pelea.
So, hi, first and foremost, thanks very much for the opportunity. This one's, I've been in some big fights, as you said. This is a new opportunity against Sandy Ryan, but I've been coming and I've been preparing for the fight, as I always do, really well. As you say, I've got some great experiences behind me, the fights I've had against McCaskill, against Taylor, and against other fighters, top fighters. On those occasions, it didn't go my way on the night, but I'm prepared for this to be my night against Sandy Ryan on Saturday.
Thank you, Anahi. Sandy, welcome. Off the back of that huge fight against Erica Farias, kind of like weirdly career-defining after 4 fights to be in a fight like you were. Just seen a different person in you since that first defeat, in terms of the way you look physically, the way you carry yourself as well, even the way you looked at the media workout yesterday. You're looking like an established world champion. We know you're not yet, but yeah, exactly. But the difference that defeat has made to you, talk about that. And obviously this fight, a big challenge. Anahi Sanchez, all action, all the time, been in some great fights against the very best in the sport.
Yeah, like you say, she's 2-time world champion. She's been in the ring with the likes of Chantel Cameron, Katie Taylor, Jessica McCaskill, and gone the full distance. So she's no pushover, she's no walkover, and I understand that. But you know me, that I'll take any fight. And as soon as you said this girl, I was like, yeah, we take it. The way I carry myself now is completely different. So I don't see her beating me, and I'm here for the long run. But yeah, might as well start the Cam woman, because any woman can get it.
The problem now, I guess, when you box Farias and you box Sanchez, there aren't many other levels, well, there are no other levels above that than the world champions. And you look at the division right now, Chantel Cameron has all the belts. Up at 147, Jessica McCaskill has all the belts as well. Going to be quite difficult. Obviously, I know you're focused on Saturday as well, but you feel like you're ready for those names if you come through Anahi Sanchez at the same time? 2023 is going to be a massive year for you. Obviously, you must take care of business Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. All my focus is on Saturday, and I can't take any fight lightly, as what happened in the early start of my career. So I'm all focused on Saturday, but next year is going to be a very big year, and there's some very big fights to be made.
When you look at your development, there's a couple of fighters here that are starting that process now. Mad to think that this is just your 6th fight, and everything you've experienced, a defeat, the pressure of your career being not over, but in a pretty dark place if you didn't win that rematch, to really being one fight away from fighting for a world title at the same time. You probably haven't done things the traditional way, but probably done it in the way that's put you in the best possible stead, physically and mentally, for what could lie ahead next year.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you don't see it other females like taking these fights early on and then regaining a loss that they take. I can't recall any other female doing that, but I'm me, and I do me, and me and my team, Cliff believes in me, and that's all that matters to me. But yeah, more people will start believing in me as more fights I have.
Well, look fantastic, ready for a great fight against Anahi Sanchez. Shout out to Sandy Ryan, of course Clifton, and also 258, done a great job to get back in the game and on the verge now of a world title shot. STN. Who did I say?
258.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry, Paul Rudy. STN, sorry mate, STN.
Are you okay, Paul?
The outstanding STN management. Paul Rudy, what a great guy. Oh dear, oh no. Okay. Right, anyway, as we move on quickly, wow, what a fight this is. I'm so excited for this fight. Nisse Sauerland, who sits to my left, Wasserman Boxing, it's a great link up between himself and Kalla. And also, we were just talking off press conference about the odds for this fight. Remarkably, you can't understand, Nathan can't understand how you guys are underdogs coming into this fight. Our guy, Fabio Wardley, we believe he's a favourite in this fight. I have to say that these fights, in terms of big domestic fights, are exactly the fights that should be getting made. The British Heavyweight Championship is so important, in my opinion, to the landscape of British boxing. It's such a prestigious honour to win the Lonsdale belt, particularly in the heavyweight division. And this is the perfect fight for it. It is a 50-50 fight. Nis, we'll start with you. You can't see why it's a 50-50 fight, but it is a great fight, and one that's very important to both of our stables.
I mean, first off, thanks Eddie, thanks Matchroom, thanks to DAZN. It's a great fight to be part of. It is a 50-50 fight. I would say Nathan's the favourite, but I think it's 3-1 odds today online for Nathan to win, which in my head is completely crazy. And if anyone wants to make a bit of money on payday, lump on that. As far as Nathan goes, it's hard to believe he's only 26 years old. He seems to have been around forever, and I think this has come at the right time for him. He's had a great camp. He'll tell you about that in a minute. But I think if you listen to Nathan's story around the Daniel Dubois fight and what happened there and how it all fell apart, I know in boxing you hear every single excuse, but if you hear this man's excuse for that fight, you'll understand. This time everything's gone perfectly. He's back in a great frame of mind. I haven't seen him like this in a while, and he's very relaxed. He's ready to go, and like you said, I think it's a 50-50 fight. I obviously favour Nathan. I just thought the odds were a bit mad. Cheers.
Nathan, let's bring you in. You looked tremendous yesterday at the workout. I've seen you make a few comments on that as well. Feel a little bit disrespected that you're the outsider in this fight like that? I mean, happy with the odds. I'm sure some of your friends are as well at the same time, but you believe that you should be the front runner for this fight, and you believe in your mind you are the favourite to win this fight on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, a lot of my friends has had a lot of bets, you know. Everyone's been sending me WhatsApps. Have you seen the odds, Nate? Have you seen the odds? I'm going to lump on this. You're going to sort me Christmas out, so there's not much pressure on me now, is there? But I'm more than ready, you know, I'm more than ready. I've had a great camp, like Nisi was just saying there, everything's gone to perfection. But I do believe I'm the favourite, I'm the more experienced. No disrespect, I fought the better people, I do believe, like I know. So I should be the favourite, but at the end of the day, odds are the odds, and you know, when we get in the ring Saturday night, it doesn't matter who's the favourite, it's only me and him what's going to fight, so it doesn't really matter come Saturday, does it?
Obviously personal belief is important, but talk us through those reasons that you feel you're better. I know you two have shared some rounds in sparring right at the start of Fabio's journey, and when you look at Fabio's journey, it's quite a remarkable rise in terms of his amateur pedigree, which is quite non-existent, but has been breezing through people, heavy-handed, good athlete as well, but you believe you're better in every department than Fabio Wardley.
Yeah, I said this yesterday on an interview about Fabio. from where he's come from to where he is today, you know, white collar background, no amateur experience, he's fighting for the British heavyweight title. That's an achievement by God in itself, you know what I mean? So, but I've been doing this since I ever can remember. You know, I know Fabio come late into transition into boxing. I think he was 18 or 19 or something like that into boxing. I've been doing this since I was 6, 7 years of age. You know, I won the national titles. I got in the Great Britain squad. I boxed around the world. It went to different tournaments. I turned over at 18 years of age. This is my second time I had British title, and it's been fight number 21, and I've shared the ring with some good opposition.
And finally, the importance of this fight for your career. We know about the disappointment of the Dubois fight, and around that time, a lot of people, some gave you a shot in that fight as well. It was a crushing defeat at the time. I know that hit hard, and there was the reasons that your preparation wasn't ideal, but this is must-win for the career of Nathan Gorman, and big fights domestically sit ahead. I mean, we know there's another level out there as well, but a British heavyweight title in itself, European Championship, puts you 1 or 2 fights away for some big paydays, big names, and it's must-win for you on Saturday.
Yeah, most definitely. It's a must-win for me. The British heavyweight title, like you said, it's the most prestige belt in it, and obviously being a heavyweight champion at that. But I win this Saturday night, then domestically, I think, not just worldwide, domestically, it's the best it's ever been for heavyweight British boxing it's ever been. So there's some fantastic fights what could be made there, but my full concentration is Fabio.
And finally, I will ask you, because I know some people say however it comes, but how do you see this fight playing out? Both of you are heavy-handed, both of you have fast hands, both of you love to throw. Do you think this fight ends inside the distance?
I really can't see it going to points, but I've trained for, if it goes 1 round, I've trained for that, but if it goes for 12, I've trained for that as well. So my prediction is a Nathan Gorman win.
Thank you, Nathan. Fabio, welcome. Are you baffled by the odds for this fight? I mean, you know, you look very relaxed. You've breezed through the level of opposition at the moment. Maybe is it a little bit more hype around you? I don't know. But you see this fight as a very, very dangerous fight. You've trained in accordance with that. Massive moment for your career on Saturday. But obviously, in your mind, you are the favourite in this fight, which should be a classic on Saturday.
Yeah, of course. I always have self-belief in myself, regardless whether I'm underdog favourite, whether the odds are in my favour or not. That doesn't matter to me, and what I need to train for. I know what type of opposition I have in front of me, how prepared I need to be, how switched on I need to be from the first minute of the first bell. So all those things are things I've gone over 200, 300, 400 times in my head, just sat there and visualised what I need to do. So whether I'm favourite or not doesn't matter. Doesn't put any extra pressure on me. To me, I've said to other people and stuff before, like me even just being here in these type of situations on these type of big cards, big shows is a bonus. Like Nathan said, I come from white collar boxing. I started I first put on a pair of gloves maybe 7 years ago now. So for me to be in these situations, there's no pressure on me. All I need to do, I know I've trained hard, I know I'm fit, I know I'm ready. I know I've got the power to end the fight if I need to, so I just need to go in there and do my job.
People always talk about, when they sort of talk about who's going to win this fight, about the experience of Nathan Gorman, the amateur pedigree versus your limited amateur experience. But we can't also take away from the big nights that you've had, that you've boxed on, but also the sparring that you've had as well. A lot of people talking about the sparring that you've had over the years, top heavyweights. And I know they're not amateur contests internationally, but those rounds with top heavyweights have put you in great stead. All of those spars against those names, particularly recently, all come back with glowing references as well. How important has it been mixing with those top level guys in preparation for a fight like this?
Yeah, it's been crucial because, like you say, I missed a few steps on the early part of my career. I didn't have that long, extensive amateur background. So me and my team realised from early that we need to make them steps up by any means necessary, however we can. And the best way we thought to do that was to get in there with top level operators, people like AJ, like Dillian Whyte, like Alexander Usyk, any and everyone that would have me. Basically, I'd get in there. It didn't matter when, whenever you wanted me. I was ready to sling it out, and I'd always give my all in them sessions. Hence why they'd always call me back, and I built a bit of a reputation for myself as being the go-to guy for needed sparring. So I've brought all that experience. I've been able to sit there around these people and talk to them and find out how they manage their own camps and how they go through sessions and just pick their brains and use all that information for myself and build myself up and gather extra experience that I, like I say, missed on the way up.
And finally, talk about predictions for the fight, but every time you have stepped up, you have ended fights early, you do have that power, you don't like to take your time. Even in the last fight, when we wanted just to get you some rounds, you couldn't help but take him out of there as well. Do you expect to win this fight inside the distance? I know it's the cliche, any fight, any way it comes, but when you talk about visualising this moment, when you visualise that moment the 300 or 400 times, like you say, does it end inside the distance?
For me, it's always ended inside the distance. Since my debut onwards, I've always finished my opponents with inside the distance. I've got power in my left hand, I've got power in my right hand. Whatever I clip you with, you know you've been hit, and I lay that on you. And once I see that, once I smell blood, it's game over. I've proved that time and time again when I've had experienced opponents that I've been in there with that have been around the block more than me, and they know their way around the ring, but I've still found a way to get them out of there, landed that sweet shot and got them down.
Well, absolutely fantastic fight. Fabio Wardley against Nathan Gorman for the British heavyweight title on a huge card. Sandy Ryan against Anahi Sanchez, Pat McCormack against Andiano, Richards against Bolotniks, Gideon Onyame against Mark Dickinson, Thomas Carty, Chev Clark, George Liddard, and much more on a huge night of boxing live from Wembley Arena on DAZN around the world. We're going to break for head-to-heads up here, and then the main press conference will be up. Look forward to a great undercard on Saturday night.
Thanks, Eddie. So 9 fights on the bill this Saturday night, live on DAZN from Wembley Arena. All starts at 4:30 with big Thomas Carty, who we heard from at the top of the press conference, George Liddard as well, Mark Dickinson and Chevon Clark. We obviously heard Richard Bolotniks there just allude to Craig Richards, who's away for personal reasons. We hope that can get sorted out. In the meantime, some great fights on the bill live on DAZN from 7 o'clock Saturday night. Darren will be on comms with Mike Costello. I'll be running around reporting, doing post-fight interviews.
Miss me.
Looking for... it's nice to get away, to be honest. Nice to have a break. Yeah, I mean, of all the fights there, some higher risk 50-50s for some of the up-and-coming prospects and contenders in the UK.
Absolutely. I mean, if you start with Sandy Ryan, that's a huge fight against Sanchez, who's a very, very dangerous fighter. She can punch. She brings it. From that first bell, she's in your face. And what potentially is looming for Sandy is huge.
So these two know each other quite well. They share a gym on occasions. Onyanani on the right, as you heard, was in him against Herbert Conceição, the Olympic gold medalist. Mark Dickinson on the left, brilliant amateur pedigree. Trained, of course, Onyanani by Robert Hodgins, who'll be in Fabio Wardley's corner, and you can see the respect between the pair of them there. And Robert Hodgins said, he said when he takes Fabio Wardley to Ben Davison's gym, of course, co-training Fabio now as well, he said, and Mark's been sparring. Robert said to Ben, he said, what do you want me to do? And he said, just turn around for a bit. So he said, I just have to sort of face the wall while Mark's doing his sparring. Yeah, sort of looking in the mirror. Yeah, so those two will do battle third on before the bell. Mark Dickinson and Gideon Onyanani from Chatham in Kent as a 6-rounder at 164 pounds agreed. And there's Pat McCormack, the Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo. Such a decorated amateur boxer, all the way from schoolboy right up to senior international level. One of the very, very best on the planet, world and Olympic silver medalist. A brilliant, brilliant operator. And he's looked so sharp and so spiteful in the professional ranks so far. And you heard from Eddie about what a huge coup it was, securing him after missing out first time of asking post the Olympic Games. He's up against Christian Andino from Argentina at 16-5. Can he offer him a little bit more resistance than the first two victims of his brilliant pressure fighting? I don't know that he will, but we shall see anyway. Sandy Ryan back in action after banishing those demons in between the first and second Erica Farias fights. A former 2-weight world champion. She managed to conquer on the rerun. She's up against a former 3-weight world champion, Anahi Sanchez from Buenos Aires, 21-5. And well, I mentioned she's only lost to 5 fighters, all of them world champions, 3 of them undisputed in Chantel Cameron, Jess McCaskill and Katie Taylor. The only woman to stop Maiva Hamadouche, who is an absolute beast. Sandy Ryan going to have her hands full. That is a great fight to open the bill. 10 rounds for a WBC international title. In a few moments, we're going to be hearing from Fabio Wardley and Nathan Gorman together. I think I'm going to have to kick you off here because I just can't see that there's going to be room for all 4 of us.
It might give way.
Not with 2 alpha males like us on the stage anyway. Yeah, it definitely will give way. So there they are. They'll come face to face for the first time. Big men, both around 6'4", 6'5". Gorman, brilliant, sharp hands. great
Try not to laugh.
punching combinations. And there's plenty of respect between the pair. As I mentioned yesterday, you would have heard they sparred together about 3 or 4 years ago. They're both very nice guys, and I think there'll be 5 guys after this, but they'll have to put the niceties aside because there is a lot on the line for both of them. And I think for Nathan Gorman, he would feel this is a big opportunity to show what he wasn't able to because of those unbelievable circumstances that he went into the Daniel Dubois fight with about 3 years ago. And for Fabio Wardley, an opportunity to dispel any of the final doubters that remain as to what's left. People want to see a bit of a chin check from him. We've seen him caught a couple of times. Maybe people want to see him get dragged into a fight a little bit deeper and see what he's made of.
I think we'll see a bit of everything in the fight, but you've got to remember this is the prestige division, the marquee division. It's a marquee belt, it's a prestige belt, so there's so much on the line for both of these fighters. I think it's my time to leave now, mate.
I think it is your time to leave. 87 years since the British heavyweight title was first contested at Wembley. Fabio Wardley and Nathan Gorman are going to do it all over again this Saturday night.
I am very hungry. I'm prepared to do what it takes. I'm prepared to go for Allenbach to win that belt. I really am.
On that night, I'll be the best Fabio Wardley that's ever walked in the ring that night. I'll have the most experience I've ever had. I'll have the most training, the most time I've ever had to get ready for a fight. 12 rounds done, ticked off, ready to go.
No one saw him there yet, so you know what happens when he does get cut, what happens when he does get a big shot and he's buzzed and he's got to try and survive for the last 40 seconds of the round or something, and I'm still coming on strong.
I don't unravel in them situations.
I'm just a better fighter than him. I think I'm a better boxer.
I have stopped everyone in my career. No one has reached the final bell.
Oh, feeling pretty small all of a sudden, folks, and that's because we've got both halves of our brilliant chief support on Saturday night. British vacant heavyweight title on the line, Fabio Wardley and Nathan Gorman. Gents, I know you've both kind of sparred before 2 or 3 years ago. Both of you were, I suppose, non-committal about how those spars went. Nathan, I'll just come to you first. What are the dangers that this man presents? What does Fabio Wardley do well?
Well, he's a heavyweight for a starter, so that every single one of them prepare a threat. You know, I've always said any man over 15 stone can punch you. It can end your fight no matter if you're winning 11.5 rounds out of 12. Unbeaten, English champion. Obviously, he's come from the white collar to a British title level. It's an achievement by itself. But I'm fully prepared and I'm fully well trained, mate, and everything's gone really well on myself, and I'm prepared to do what it takes on Saturday night.
You obviously shut out Richard Lartey over 10. You took him out in 2. Are you expecting a fight or a bit of a chess match from this man on Saturday?
I think I'm expecting a fight, to be honest. I think Nathan's got a bit of fire in him, fire back in him, probably after that defeat from Daniel, and he went for the British title before, wasn't able to get it, so that second time around, that gives you a bit more between the teeth, I think, and I think he really kind of wants to make a statement in this fight and really stick it on me.
He said he thinks you could unravel after the kind of midpoint of the fight. Is that just because you haven't had the experience, you haven't seen you dragged into a tough fight yet?
Yeah, of course. It's a fair question mark about me is what am I going to be like in that second half of the fight, but so far in any situation I've been put in, I've always come through on top. I haven't folded, I haven't crumbled in any situation, so we'll see what happens on the night.
I know you feel your physicality's come on under Danny Wilson's tutelage, you the same, Nathan, under Paul Reed. Is he going to have to beat the very best version of you so far? Are you a better version going into this than the Dubois fight?
Oh, most definitely. I've got no excuses come Saturday night. I've had the best. I know there's no cliche in boxing. I'm sure Fabio will say the same thing in a minute. It's been the best camp I've ever had. I'm feeling really strong. I never really done any weights until 18 months ago. You know what I mean? A heavyweight, not to lift weights. So all my S&C's been breaking, all my PBs, everything in the gym. Sparring really well. I've done everything to the book. So there's no excuses for me when I walk out Saturday night.
And I know there's obviously that inherent tension because you're standing next to each other, you know you're going to be trading blows, but can we get a handshake on a Five Guys after the fight? Can we do that?
Yeah, of course. I'm getting a Five Guys regardless.
Nathan loves his scram.
I'll even order a burger for him.
His eyes lit up. I haven't seen them like that this week so far. Good stuff. Well, listen, gents, the very best of luck to you both. It's going to be a great fight for the British title, and thanks for speaking to us.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks very much. OK, we're going to swap these two out. We're going to get little Darren Barker back in. He's going to look like Anton Deck after this. And, of course, we're all going to be heading on to the main event at Wembley Arena, live on DAZN Saturday night. Dillian Whyte facing undefeated American Jermaine Franklin.
The mindset of a champion.
I survived so much things in life.
A desire to be the best.
My mindset is to always bring
fight the best.
Maximum rage and violence into the ring.
There'll always be bumps in the road.
One fight can change everything, man.
but redemption only tastes sweeter. The big fights keep coming.
Everyone write me up. I just keep showing up.
We ain't doing no running. Our destiny is to rule the world. And then you hear the call.
No more talking. Time to do what I do best.
I mean, you stand next to proper heavyweights and you just feel really,
Do I feel really small now?
Well, yeah, I feel like I've got my alpha male back. I'm like, oh, it's all good now. Aaron's back. That was quite interesting. There's definitely a little bit of tension there. You know, there's kind of not a lot of eye contact, but there obviously there's no beef between the pair of them. But I guess you know the saying. There are people that you don't have any ill will towards. But when you know you're getting in the ring with somebody, you just can't afford to be nice, and you can't afford to take the edge off your personality.
No, it's all a front, you know, as you well know, and most of us do, that so much mind games is played in boxing, trying to get one over your opponent before they get in there. They're both extremely confident, and I think that comes across, having spoke to both of them yesterday.
I think they've both got every right to be as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Nathan, you touched on the Dubois defeat yesterday. You asked him the question. He's like, well, look, I can look back at that. There were some boxes ticked. It didn't go my way, but I've learned an awful lot from that defeat, and I take positives away from it, if you like. Where on the flip side, you've got Fabio, who's unbeaten, untested, I guess, in comparison to Gorman, but he hasn't suffered defeat. He truly believes that he can go a long way in this sport. I've said before, I think he really is a natural talent. What he's been able to do and the way he's sort of come into his own and the style that he's adopted from having no amateur experience, only white-collar experience, is impressive. It really, really is. The sparring's been crucial for Fabio's development as a pro, and he comes into this fight, like I say, full of confidence that not only can he look good, that he can get the stoppage, and you know, he'll be thinking in his head, the most important thing, first and foremost, is to win that British title. But I guarantee you, when that first bell goes, if he tags Nathan, he'll be thinking about Dubois, thinking, I want to try and outdo what Daniel Dubois had done here. I want to make a real statement. And then on the flip side, you've got Nathan Gorman. He's going to say, right, now, this is my chance. This is my chance to be British champion. And then what looms for the winner is huge. There's some big fights.
So important as well to be making good fights for this title, because, you know, we've seen this kind of trend in recent years of fighters that want to kind of swerve the British title for fear of maybe losing at this kind of level and taking a risk. But you can't argue with some of the fights you've had. You know, you go back to Fury and Chisora in 2011, Joshua and Whyte, Dubois and Gorman, of course, Joyce and Dubois as well. Fair play to the fighters that have rolled the dice at heavyweight at this level, knowing a loss could take them back a step. But for Nathan Gorman particularly, this could be his last roll at the dice if he loses again at domestic level. Although actually that's not true. He's 26 years of age.
Yeah, but it will be tough to come. It will be tough to come back, not just from a career standpoint, but mentally. It'd be very tough for him to rebuild.
And one man who knows what it is to rebuild from a loss at British title level is that man. What a fight he had with Anthony Joshua in 2015. We all remember it well. It was a proper slugfest, a personal one as well. It's not so personal on Saturday night, but for him it's important because another defeat in sequence, not to one of the world's top names, is going to be detrimental at 35 years of age. It is an absolutely must-win fight for Dillian Whyte if he's to keep, I guess, an AJ rematch on track early next year.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it would be devastating to his career if he was to lose against Franklin. It really would. He wants to be in there with the big names. Though he's a fighting man and he loves it. He absolutely loves fighting. We know that. I think a defeat here would really put him down the rankings, and he'd be in fights that he wouldn't usually want to be in. And he's a contender. He still is. You know, he's only been beaten by the best. A good performance, not only a victory, I feel a good performance is required from Dillian Whyte Saturday night, but Franklin comes in this with his own ambitions. He wants to rip up the script and he wants to fight potentially Anthony Joshua next in a massive money fight, a huge fight for his career and legacy. So there is so much on the line for both fighters.
Yeah, Buddy McGirt brought in, of course, to try and revamp and revitalise the career of Whyte, 35 years of age, a former champion at super lightweight and welterweight himself. Of course, there's some great victories as a trainer in title fights. Arturo Gatti against guys like Gianluca Branco, Leonard Dorin, Antonio Tarvas, 2 victories against Roy Jones, Vernon Forrest against Sergio Mora, Carlos Baldemir. He was very good in the Gatti War trilogy as well. And Gatti and Tarver among a handful of fighters to link up with him after defeat. Vernon Forrest did the same, and more recently, of course, Sergei Kovalev and Callum Smith have headed stateside to work with him to revive their careers. He gets fighters back doing the best of what they do, and hearing from Dillian yesterday was interesting. He said, look, I'm too set in my ways to change my style, but what he has done is reinstilled the things that I need to be doing, need to be thinking about. So could we see a rejuvenated, solid version of him to keep Jermaine Franklin at bay, or can the American get up close and make it an inside firefight? Shane McGuigan was talking about the Dubois spars that he's been in.
Please take your
in the last
seats,
few days,
everyone.
saying
Please
how
take
well
your
he's equipped
seats,
himself
please.
against a
Thank
very
you.
physically strong, heavy-handed, ferocious fighter like Dubois. It's in the balance, and he will not want to leave it to the judges on
No, he won't. He won't. But that was the big question I had yesterday. Can he put a dent in Dillian Whyte? Can he hurt Dillian Whyte? I'm not saying he can't, but I've yet to see anything so far that makes me think he can. It's interesting because he's a very, very good fighter.
All right, well, we're ready to go. Both fighters in our main event Saturday night, live on DAZN from Wembley Arena. Dillian Whyte and Jermaine Franklin are standing by with Eddie Hearn.
Well, welcome back, everybody, from London ahead of a huge night of boxing this Saturday from the OVO Arena, Wembley Arena, live on DAZN around the world. A fight that is very important for the heavyweight division. The main event, the return of the body snatcher, Dillian Whyte, against America's Jermaine Franklin. Tremendous card from top to bottom, but this fight, very important for the world heavyweight landscape and very important for the career of both men, particularly from our side, the British heavyweight Dillian Whyte, that returns to action after fighting for the WBC World Heavyweight title against Tyson Fury in what is a must-win fight on Saturday. We're going to go over to the American team firstly. Dimitri Salita, welcome. Always a pleasure to have here. Off the back of a very successful trip for you with Clarissa Shields, looking for one of your other charges to win a big fight on Saturday night, and you truly believe this is the moment for Jermaine Franklin.
Thank you, Eddie. It's always a pleasure to be here in the UK. Amazing boxing culture, amazing fans, amazing media, and the UK is the home of the heavyweight landscape these days. I believe Jermaine is the top young American heavyweight. I've been telling you about Jermaine for many years. This is his opportunity, a classic fight with a young guy fighting an older, big name. I want to give a shout out and respect to Jesse Addison and Lorenzo, his trainers, who have been here with him for a long time, from his first fight, really. Jermaine is a national champion, beat several undefeated fighters on his way up the ranks, and we love it here, but you guys are on for a big surprise on Saturday night.
Yeah, you've been asking me to get Jermaine Franklin a big fight for a long time. He nearly got it last year as well, but tell us a little bit about Jermaine Franklin. I mean, you are a former fighter, unlike us, most promoters who have not really been in there. You have been, you understand boxing, and you believe this is the perfect timing for him against Dillian Whyte.
I do. As you know, we almost made the fight last year, but it did not happen. I believe the timing is better for Jermaine now. Dillian did get knocked out twice out of his last 3 fights, although very high-level fights. However, I do believe that Dillian is underestimating Jermaine, and Jermaine is very eager to win, very eager to be the best, and I've seen it throughout his career. I followed him in his young professional career. I started working with him as a promoter 3 years ago, and what I've seen is very promising. He's ready for this big stage. He's focused mentally, physically. He's been here for about 5 weeks, sparring with Tyson Fury and Daniel Dubois. He's ready to rumble.
And finally, how important is that big stage and being able to deal with that pressure as well? And also the start of this fight. Both guys can really punch. Dillian Whyte, particularly likes to start fast as well in fights occasionally, and going to have to get into this fight real quick, Jermaine Franklin.
Yes, again, a lot of respect for Dillian Whyte. He's obviously a very accomplished fighter, great heavyweight, big name. I believe Jermaine is on stage to become a big name from America. Not a lot of big heavyweights from the United States. Jermaine is in that route, being in camp with Tyson Fury, sparring with Daniel Dubois, I believe prepared him for this. And also having such an outstanding and long-time amateur career and professional career, Jermaine has been dreaming and reliving this moment for so many times. And it's all going to come together on Saturday night.
Thank you, Dimitri. Let's talk to the training teams, Jesse Addison and, of course, Buddy McGirt, now training and picking up the reins of Dillian Whyte. Jesse, we'll start with you. A special moment for you with Jermaine Franklin because you've been with him right from the start. You've been dreaming of this big opportunity. This is an opportunity that will see probably Jermaine Franklin move forward and fight for the world heavyweight title. Everything you've worked towards together unfolds on Saturday night.
Yes, sir. First of all, it's an honor to be here in London, and the people here have been very kind and very hospitality to us, and it's an honor, you know. We're going to take full advantage of this opportunity that we got. I can recall Jermaine when he was a younger fighter, maybe about 12, 13. At the time, he wasn't fighting for me, but I told him, I said, you're going to be world champion one day, never knowing that one day he would be fighting for me. So his dad brought him to me about 10 years ago, and he said, I got to take him to another level, and you the man. So I say, well, if Jermaine is determined and he want to do this, we can take him to the top because he does have potential. So we started off, and we had a successful amateur career, 2 Golden Glove national champions. Well, he was runner-up 1 year, and then he lost in the finals, came all the way back around, and he made up for that, and he won it. So this guy, he knows how to win. We have great chemistry together. I go out there, I give him an assignment, and he take care of the assignment. So nothing is new, you know. His professional career have been built on the road. We went into his opponents' backyards, in front of their fans, in front of their families, and we destroyed them. Just like we come here to do with Dillian Whyte, in front of his fans, in front of his family, and we're gonna destroy him. It's nothing new. It's nothing new to us. We grew to this.
When you look at the level of opposition he's faced, we know he's got great amateur pedigree, we know he's got ability, but this is a big step up to the elite level of the heavyweight division. You say you're going to destroy Dillian Whyte, but what gives you that confidence just being around Jermaine Franklin, seeing his ability? Because this is a big step up on a big stage for Jermaine Franklin.
Yes, it is. It's a big step up, and we prepare for this. You know, this is a step where I've been mentally preparing him for, physically preparing him for ever since the first day that he walked in the gym. And so getting this opportunity against Dillian Whyte, they talked about it maybe a year ago or so, and we got all excited about it, and it didn't happen. But I told Jermaine, that's okay. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. And here we are. It's going to happen. We're not fearful of the big stage we on. We the big stage. When we came here, we the big stage, so the stage got to get ready for us.
Thanks, Jesse. Buddy,
yes, sir.
Welcome. Always a pleasure to have you in town.
How you doing?
Good. I see you've done your knee in the other week, but you're here ready to rumble on Saturday night. The first fight with Dillian Whyte. They're talking a big game over the other side there. You know these guys, obviously. You've studied Jermaine Franklin as well. A real test on Saturday night for Dillian Whyte?
Of course. I believe anybody's a test, you know, when the bell rings, you know, you never know what intention. Well, you know the other guy's intentions on winning, but to me, everybody's a test. You never overlook anybody. You know, I don't give a shit who it is. He can have one eye, one leg. You never underestimate him. You got to be prepared for any and everything, and we have done that. So now I'm just ready to put everything together Saturday night.
Obviously, Dillian's made the move out to the States. He's always been prepared to make the sacrifices to get the best out of his career. Impressed with what you've seen so far as well, a big, strong heavyweight that can really punch, and plenty left in the tank for Dillian Whyte.
Well, you know, he has more than just punching power. You know, after being with him for a couple of weeks, you know, you see this guy has a very good boxing IQ. You know, he does a lot of different moves. It's awkward and it's crazy, but it works for him. You know what I mean? So, and if I ever ask him something, you know, why'd you do that? He explained to me why. And I'm like, all right, cool. Now let's make it a little better where we don't get counted or, you know, make it more effective. So, I mean, it was a great training camp. So I have no complaints at all.
I'm sure you've studied Jermaine Franklin, a good amateur, good feet as well, good all-round boxer, but you expect your man to be triumphant on Saturday night.
I'm going to be 150% honest with you. I don't study anybody. I prepare for any and everything. I'm not going to sit and worry about what the guy I'm training, who he's fighting. I don't worry about what they're doing, because I'm preparing my guy for any and everything. You know what I mean? So if you prepare, I believe if you prepare for one thing, and you see something and you look for it and it don't happen in the fight, it's too damn late. But if you're prepared for any and everything, no matter what the other guy does, you got an answer for it, and that's the key.
And finally, everything you've seen in the gym, obviously coming off a defeat for the world heavyweight title, but plenty left from Dillian Whyte, and you expect a great performance from him this weekend.
Oh, most definitely. And here's the funny part. I never seen Dillian fight either. So.
Well, I promise you one thing. You will do on Saturday.
But, you know, I had to deal with him for the last 6 weeks, so that was enough. You know what I mean? So, but, you know, look, we had a great training camp. We're not expecting no easy fight Saturday. I believe there's no such thing as an easy fight. I mean, especially at this stage of the game, you got to be ready for any and everything, and we've done that now. So now, well, Dillian's done it, because when the bell rings, he takes 3 steps in, I take 3 steps out. So it's on him now. So it's on him now to, you know, do chicken right Saturday night.
Thanks, buddy. Jermaine, welcome. You've been really chilled out, you know, since we saw you. First time I met you was at the Gloves Are Off, or no, the show. Seen the way you've spoke on social media, but when it comes down to it, you're super chilled. Your man Jesse spoke a great game there as well. You don't look overawed with the occasion, but you've enjoyed your experience. I think coming here early has been fantastic for your preparation. You've had great sparring. Just 2 days away now for the biggest moment of your life, the biggest moment of your career.
First, I want to say thank you for the opportunity of having me here and getting me out. But yeah, I'm a real chill guy. I don't really talk a lot, so you know, I just like to take care of business when it's time to.
People keep talking about if you're ready for the big stage. Jesse seems to think, without doubt, you are. Probably knows you better than most men. You feel confident in yourself that when you walk out on Saturday night, you're ready to mix it at that level with the big crowds and the big platform around the world. This is, I guess, the moment you've been working for all your career.
Yeah, I got the utmost confidence in myself, and I'm ready to go to war behind it.
And what do you see from Dillian Whyte when you look in his eyes? I know you know that he's a good fighter. He is coming off a stoppage loss as well. But what gives you the confidence that you believe you win this fight on Saturday?
I just got the utmost confidence in myself and my abilities. I know, like, y'all keep bringing up him being stopped, but I don't care about that. So I come in there, I prepare like Dillian's the champion, like he's a world champion. That's how we looking at it.
And finally, victory for you. I know we had a joke, but not really a joke, about what could lay ahead if you win this fight on Saturday night. You beat Dillian Whyte in London on Saturday night. You're going to change your life. Multi-million-pound paydays, the biggest fights in the division. Really, the pressure's on Dillian Whyte, I guess, on Saturday night. Most people here believe that he'll go through you on Saturday night, but for you, you win this fight, everything changes.
Yeah, so I'm just focused on this fight. I don't really like to dwell too much in the future. You know, you can lose focus on once at hand. So, you know, after this fight, then, you know, that's where my focus would be after this. But until this fight, I'm just strictly focused on business.
Thank you, Jermaine. Dillian, welcome back. You look great. You look fresh. You look ready. I guess there is pressure on you on Saturday night. You don't look like there's pressure on you on Saturday night, but coming off that defeat, the big fights that lay ahead in 2023 as well, most people, I guess, without knowing the history of Jermaine Franklin, expect you to put on a great display and win on Saturday night. But like Buddy says, you know this is a real test, and looking forward to a great fight on Saturday.
No one expects me to do anything, man. I'll just get nervous, mate. But, you know, listen. Like he said, he's had a lot of amateur fights, and I had 6 amateur fights. People forget that. You know, I had 6 amateur fights, but one thing you gotta know is I can fight, and I can fucking fight. It's as simple as that, you know. I can fucking fight. Regardless, whichever way it is, however way it is, I'll get it done. Simple as that.
When we look back to the Fury fight, I know that's the past now, but do you feel you lost a little bit of that? You know, one thing that's you've always had is that ruggedness, that tenacity, that maximum violence mindset. Is that back now? Is that here? I mean, Buddy McGirt's been a great influence on you. He's quite a calming guy as well, but we need that ruggedness from Dillian Whyte because that's what makes you what you are as a fighter.
You know what? It's never left, but, you know, sometimes it's boxing, stuff happens, and sometimes when you're meant to have your best nights, you don't. And other times when you're not meant to, it happens. That's just how boxing goes. That's what boxing is. You live, you learn from it. Obviously, hindsight's a bitch, as they say, but, you know, obviously, I try to listen to what my coaches say and what instruction is and this, that, and the other, you know what I mean? Sometimes
you have like a to and fro in your head, do this, but wait, but you know, Buddy's calm, but listen, don't let Buddy's calmness fool you. Buddy be shouting, rooter to the baby. Buddy's calm, but you know, Buddy, you just look at the way Buddy used to fight. Buddy used to set pace and all his fight aggressively, so don't let his calmness fool you. Listen, we know what's in front of us. You know, he's young, he's dangerous, obviously, he's undefeated, and he's full of beans, as we say here in the UK, and you know, it's up to me to beat them out of him one by one, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, you know.
We know that boxing's changed your life. You probably weren't expected to get to these levels of 90,000 fighting for the world heavyweight title. You know, you've made your money, you've made a lot of sacrifices as well. How much does the fire still burn within Dillian Whyte? Now you're fighting these young guys that were like you once, you know, when you fought Derek Chisora, even before that.
He's never let me. He's never let me. He's never let me. He can say whatever he want, and they say all this, and you know, his coach said, I've been building for this moment. I was never prepared for this moment. No one ever guided me and built me to get here. I was just like, fuck this, I don't give a fuck. Whatever it takes, I'm gonna get there. You know, I didn't have no promoters. I didn't even win the junior ABAs. You know what I mean? I never had no backing, nothing. I was selling tickets up until a couple of years ago, you know, to get on these shows. You know, obviously, I've always been the outsider. Even when I was at the top of the game, I was always been the outsider. So I'm used to it, and you know, I'm used to it. I don't think the fire is there. My fire never goes, and I don't think it will ever go. I just have to know when it's time to say, yeah, listen, you need to relax, son, and have a cup of tea.
You heard from the trainer, Jesse. He says he expects to destroy you on Saturday night. You've seen Jermaine say some stuff on social, not so much face-to-face. What do you think about the belief from the camp?
I don't really watch what people say on social media. If you can't say it to my face, then screw you. You know, and they can say whatever they want. Listen, that's their job. They're meant to say that. They're meant to do this. They're meant to be. That's what we paid them to come here to do. You understand? Come here to have self-belief, to believe in yourself, to come and fight, to come and put up a good fight. Obviously, Jesse believes in him. Jesse probably sees him as a son and look after him. So he's gonna say whatever he's gonna say. I don't care what people say about me or think about me. I don't care. Like I say at the start, I can fight, regardless. At the minute, obviously, people thinking, oh, he's an wounded lion now. We're going to, all these little hyenas looking to move in and have a little nibble here, a little nibble there. What they're going to remember is, listen, I'm still a predator at the end of the day. And what predators do, they kill.
And finally, this young man has good amateur pedigree, good experience, good feet, good technician. Can he stand and mix it with a body snatcher? Can he stand in the trenches? You think he's prepared to go to those?
He can do whatever he wants to do. I don't care. He can. I fought all different kind of guys. You know, I fought tall guys, awkward guys, short guys. I fought punchers. I fought Olympians. I fought guys who's destroyed everybody. You know, and I find a way to beat almost all of them. You know what I mean? You know, and the ones that didn't beat, I still had my moments in the fights. You know, so, you know, but I fought top guys. Obviously, you know, they're saying I've underestimated him. I was like, if I underestimated him, I left and go to. I got called like the day, 2 or 3 days before, and I just dropped everything, pick up my case and run off into the night, went to America. You know, if I was underestimated, I said to Buddy, yeah, you stay over there, just come and see me 4 weeks before the fight. No, I've been staying in a motel, so, and it wasn't a nice motel. I've been cooking my own grub and everything, so, you know, if I wasn't underestimated, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be in some fancy villa with a pool and all that. I was even washing my own clothes. I was getting quarters and washing my own. I ain't underestimating, bro, trust me, but it's good though, it's good to roll it back sometime, peel it back and strip it back a bit, you know, and it's good when these guys come here and say these things because it just, you know, anyway, it's all good, man.
And over finally to the Franklin team, Jesse, a prediction from you? Is it just the standard by any means necessary, or when you play this fight in your head, how does Jermaine Franklin win this fight?
Listen, Dillian Whyte is a wounded lion wandering in the jungle. Okay.
Why you taking my risk, bro?
When
Relax,
you get
man.
a wounded lion wandering in the
Jermaine, speak
jungle,
up and say your
the
coach
healthy
speak,
lions
man.
are going to destroy
Hey,
you.
Dimitri.
This is the healthy
Steven,
lion.
your thunder, Dimitri.
He's been knocked out
Dimitri,
2
Steven, your
times
thunder.
out of his last 3
Hey,
fights.
Dimitri,
He's
Steven,
a
your
wounded
thunder, bro.
lion. This
He's
man
Steven,
is
your thunder.
undefeated. So we just going to
Bro,
finish
he's
him
lost
off.
fights before in his.
We
in-
just
he's
going to
lost
finish
fights
him
before,
off. That's
bro.
all. Simple as
We've
that.
all lost fights. Everybody's lose fights. He's lost fights before. Like, you just. And the
Jesse,
Americans always talk
is it a
shit
knockout
anyway,
victory?
man.
Most definitely a knockout victory. We're here in London, England. He has friends here. So we want to secure the victory. We want to make sure we take the judges out of the equation, and Jermaine Fist is going to be the judge. And,
Is this thing finished?
and he's mumbling now, but after the fight, he won't even be able to mumble.
Okay, Jesse.
You dumb fuck! That's what you sound like, you stupid fucking bozo. Relax, man.
We gonna see when you get off your ass.
You see when you get off your head. And God and them. Fucking idiot. Sorry.
Okay. I won't ask you, buddy, as you haven't watched it. Dillian Whyte, do you win this fight by knockout on Saturday night? Is that in the mindset? I know that the standard procedure is however it comes, but you believe you win this fight by knockout?
I've never tried to have a fight where I never tried to knock someone out. You see me get in trouble for it because I've been ahead in the scorecards and they're like, you're ahead, and I'm like, well, I'm still gonna try and knock this guy out. So that's my mindset. That's I'm one of those kind of guys that I'm cool and chill, but I'm like extreme as fuck and violent as fuck also. But it's a bit of a paradox. I'm super cool, but I'm super wild at the same time. It's crazy.
You should let Buddy talk for you, because we don't understand a damn thing you saying.
Hey, let's finish, bro.
Can you leave me out of this, please?
He didn't get it. He's stupid. Bro, just stop talking rubbish.
Well, we're done, but one thing from you, Jermaine, you've been the quietest one here. Are you...
I don't give a fuck. Stop talking. I don't give a fuck if you're a pensioner. I'll smack the shit if you keep talking.
You selling fucking wolf tickets. Where we come from, we don't even buy that shit.
Damn, shut the fuck up. Dumb fuck.
Jermaine, anything to close on? You've been super chilled. Are you sure? Your man's sure down there. Are you sure you win this fight on Saturday night?
Yeah, I'm just ready to kick ass. You know, that's all I got to say. I ain't really no big talker, like I said. You know, I'm just ready to fight. That's what I do.
Well, thank you very much. And thank you, Jesse, Buddy, Dillian, and Dimitri Salita. Lots said up here, but the fact remains, a big fight for the heavyweight division and a massive fight for the career of Dillian Whyte on Saturday night, live from the Wembley Arena on DAZN all around the world. Great card, great night of boxing, wherever you are in the world. Do not miss it. We're going to have a head-to-head up here. Thank you. We'll see you Saturday.
Okay. Well, first things first, I haven't heard the word bozo used as an insult since primary school.
I imagine it's the sort of curse that you'd use, though.
Yeah, 100%. I'd have been pulling that out of the bag every Monday morning. Second, if Dillian Whyte's a wounded lion, you're an arthritic badger. Just a quick word on the odds for this. If you think the fight will go the distance and Whyte will win, you can head over to DAZN Bet. They have got a super boost on Whyte to win on points for a maximum stake of a tenner. So the odds have been boosted from 7-2 up to 5-1, meaning a £10 bet will now return £60 as opposed to the regular 45. It's not too shabby. So if you think Whyte is going to win on points, there is a super boost on that. Now head over to DAZN Bet. First time the fighters have come head to head. Now this was the thing that was of most interest, I think, to us yesterday, because people have said Jermaine Franklin not the biggest heavyweight in the world. We know Dillian Whyte's a good, solid 6'4", and actually Franklin doesn't look much shorter at all. He looks a good size there.
Yeah, there's not much between them. I think Dillian Whyte, the thicker set out of the two, more muscle bound.
Dimitri Salita getting involved there. Well, it started off pretty tame earlier, and the teams have started to really dig into each other. But Jermaine Franklin seems very calm. He seems at home on this kind of stage. Dillian Whyte fired up and almost insulted by the accusation that he's now over the hill, he's there for the taking.
Yeah, and we know Dillian Whyte's got a temper. We know he can get rattled and likes to get stuck in. Look, he's a street kid. He's a street kid and just wants to fight.
Sean, follow Matt. So security doing their job as Dillian Whyte heads away with his entourage there. and we will see them go face-to-face. We'll have fireworks at the weigh-in tomorrow afternoon, live from 1 o'clock across Matchroom Boxing social media. An interesting way to finish proceedings here in Regent's Park. Eddie, come and grab a mic.
I told them, lads, if anyone wants to go, I'm ready.
Well, I didn't expect Dimitri Salita to get stuck in there.
It was, Jesse Addison did a really good job. I mean, not just to hype the fight, but I think it was a deliberate ploy to try and get into Dillian's head. Not to get in his head, because I don't think you can do that, but just wind him up a little bit. And it was just Dimitri Salita, actually, which was the funniest thing. You actually forget that Dimitri Salita was a fighter. Yeah. Like, he's one of those guys that if he piped up outside a pub, you'd think, this geezer ain't going to be a problem, and then you'd end up getting chinned, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? But he said, yeah, look him in the eyes, Jermaine, tell him he's getting knocked out or something like that. And Dillian just leaned forward and just shoved him in the face and said, shut up. And then Dimitri Salita said, you want to fight me? Let's go now. And I was like, what? Are you mad? And then Jermaine Frank. That could have been a lot worse.
That's going viral.
That really is, isn't it? Well, it could have been worse, but Jermaine Franklin's been the most chilled guy out of all of these, and good, really. I think they've obviously both got lively teams.
Yeah.
And he's the guy right there, Jermaine Franklin, that seems to be the one who
Can't
is
seem
most.
to bring anything out of him, really. But
keep trying. I mean, we did the head-to-head. He says all this stuff online, but he's just like, look, I'm going to do my fighting in the ring, and I'm going, come on, mate. I saw you say you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and I think he's played a good game. I think he's probably the one leaving here right now, feeling the best of everyone.
You can't accuse him of not being up for this fight. His demeanour maybe says that, but he's come over 5 weeks ago, sparring with Tyson Fury, David Alloway, Daniel Dubois. You don't do that unless you're prepared to come and try to win this fight.
Yeah, and then again in the media workout, he goes in and just mucks around, really.
Yeah.
Like, he's not really hitting the pads properly, and like you say, it's easy to look at someone like that and say, is he actually... Is he
we
up
know
for
he's
this
been
fight? Yeah, but
preparing.
also, and you listen to Jesse Addison, who says, listen, for 10 years we've been waiting for an opportunity like this. He's not prepared to let this opportunity pass him. And I think he's going to be a dangerous fighter, I really do.
Do you know what, as well, when they come face to face there, we've got this assumption beforehand that he's a lot smaller, Franklin.
People were saying 6'6", but he's a good 6'3".
Yeah, but also Dillian's not as big as well as some people think in terms of size in the heavyweight division. You saw that when he fought Tyson Fury. And I just feel that, there's a lot of pressure on Dillian Whyte in this fight. He can say there isn't, and there's not just pressure to win the fight. Really, he's got to go out and win it well.
Is his career on the line?
I say that a lot in build-ups to fights, mainly to build fights, but it's just about what you envisage your career to be. Like for Dillian Whyte, he wants to fight the elite fights and fight for the world heavyweight title again. The reality is, if he loses on Saturday night, he's in no elite fights. He's not fighting for the world heavyweight title. And I think, I don't know where you come back after that.
Do you have a rematch clause in these sort of fights?
You normally have options on a fighter. So if you give a fighter like Jermaine Franklin the opportunity to come back, unless it's for a major title, we would have the right to put him in another fight. It's like a promotional option on a fighter. So we would say, Jermaine Franklin, you're getting the opportunity of a lifetime. If you beat Dillian Whyte, you're going to double, treble your money. There'll be some fighters that will be outside of that bracket, like a AJ or a Tyson Fury, but we would effectively co-promote you with Dimitri Salita moving forward. That could be a rematch with Dillian Whyte. That could be a fight with Dempsey McKean, with Zhilei Zhang, with Filip Hrgovic, with, or so forth. So, but I'll be honest, if Jermaine Franklin wins on Saturday night, I'll put him straight in with AJ. It would be a massive fight. An American knocking out or beating Dillian Whyte, he would be the natural choice for Anthony Joshua. But obviously we want Dillian Whyte to win. We want to make that fight. But I think it's going to be a great fight.
Good stuff. Well, Eddie, I'm going to let you backflip off the stage again.
Let me check how it looked.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Not great.
You styled it out.
Great.
Could have been a lot worse. Thanks for your company. 5 big fights on the bill live on DAZN Saturday night. We kick off with Sandy Ryan and Anaya Sanchez, 3-weight world champion. Then Pat McCormack, Olympic silver medalist in his 3rd outing against Christian Andino from Buenos Aires. Craig Richards and Richard Bolotniks will do battle in Craig Richards' comeback fight after defeat to Joshua Buatsi. Fabio Wardley and Nathan Gorman contesting the British heavyweight title in our chief support live from Wembley Arena on DAZN to set the table for Dillian Whyte's comeback fight after his 3rd career defeat against unbeaten American Jermaine Franklin. We've seen fireworks this afternoon. We'll see plenty on Saturday night, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon for the weigh-in. Thanks for your company.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. It's now time for the featured bout four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight!